One day you're going to wake up, log on to World of Warcraft, and realize that, oh, MoP Remix is about to end. And this whole time, we've seen so many changes to this event. Knowing that this is their first remix, and that they're probably going to do another one in the future, let's go over everything that we learned, and talk about some of the things that are very popular that the community would like to see changed. Let's get into it. So the first one is gear. Gear is actually a very important aspect of MoP Remix. A lot of people at the very beginning were saying there's no need to upgrade your gear, you're powerful just the way it is. And for those people who were just collecting bronze for mounts and not spending a lot of bronze on the cosmetics and transmogs and whatnot, that may be so. But for the people who wanted the full experience out of MoP Remix, it was very beneficial to upgrade your gear to the max level. This took a lot of the currency, which is bronze. And we'll get into bronze later. But the gear became a point of contention with a lot of people because there was a lot of complaining that their gear was taking up so much of their bronze that they wanted to use on their cosmetics, and it was just really, really expensive to get up to that 476 item level. All in all, that idea of having to spend your bronze on your gear wasn't really that popular. It was also really lackluster because you knew the stats you were getting with this gear. As you upgraded that gear, you got more powerful, but there really wasn't anything that allowed you to try new builds or, test an experiment with a secondary stat this way or that way. So here are a couple of ideas that I had and some comments that I saw that were really, really cool. One, introduce gear that has random abilities that could link with your gems. Something like a chest piece that increases your fire damage by 10%, so that the gems that you're using that are focused on fire, those are going to be more powerful. Or introducing different set bonuses that are really simple. Something really simple like you get an increase in damage percentage when you have 2 of the 5 pieces of this set. There was one comment that I really did like about the gear, and it was keep the currency for buying your cosmetics, your transmogs, and your mounts completely separate from the currency that you need to upgrade your gear. So having 2 currencies instead of just one would have been really interesting. And then maybe having different ways for farming for those 2 different currencies. Some people may not like that, but I think it would be really interesting. Now, moving over to the cloak. At first, I was really upset with the way that they advertised the cloak, saying that your cloak is going to transfer to your alts, like all the stats you have. But we found out that that really wasn't the case, because the cloak wasn't transferred at a 1-to-1 ratio to your alts. You only got 100% from the bonus EXP from your main. And at first I was really upset about that. But let me tell you this, if you guys comment down below and you're not attacking me or anybody else, basically if you're not trying to make it personal, and you state your reasons why it should be a different way, I am completely open to having my mind changed. And a lot of you guys did change my mind about the cloak. Yeah, it shouldn't be a 1-to-1 ratio. What I was upset about is that they kind of advertised it that way. They left it vague, but had they not advertised the cloak that way, I probably wouldn't have been upset about it. But in the end, yeah, the cloak shouldn't be a 1-to-1 ratio, because you would lose that special feeling of going from 10 to 70, the sense of progression. But here is a problem that I did see with the cloak. There are certain caps for secondary stats. I think for mastery on my evoker, I hit 203%, and I couldn't go any higher. But yet my threads on mastery would continue to increase and increase and increase. Now, what this did allow me to do is over time I was able to remove mastery gems and add versatility. That was nice. But what happens when I have no more mastery gems and I'm still getting threads on mastery? Well, that's a wasted stat. And what is the point of getting those threads? It's the same thing for getting an experience bonus when I'm already level 70. What is the point of having those threads go to experience when I'm no longer leveling? I think I'm speaking as a whole for the community when saying that there has to be something done with the cloak in regards to stats that have exceeded their expectations. So if we have more than what we need, those numbers need to be used for something. Whether we're able to transfer those to something else, so if we can tweak our cloak in some certain way, or have our cloaks enchanted in a way that some of the stats now convert into a currency. Opening that up more would be a really, really cool idea for the next time we do Remix. The third thing is currency. We know now the amount of currency that we need in order to make this fun. They had a huge hotfix, Who's to say that they weren't planning this all along? Just being fair there. It was exciting when they boosted the bronze, but at the same time, I think it's fair enough to say, were you planning this all along, Blizzard? Truly, we'll never really know. Unless we had someone on the inside saying, yeah, this was actually going to happen no matter what. Because what's really weird is that they had said in a previous post, we do not plan on lowering the cost of gear. And then shortly after in the hotfix, we looked into lowering the cost of gear. And we were going to refund bronze to the people who spent all that currency on the gear upgrades. So what changed their mind? if at all. Anyways, the currency thing, we now know exactly how much we need. So the next time they do a remix, if they lowball us on the currency that they're giving, you can just expect that they're going to do the same thing as before and do some kind of hot fix as a catch-up mechanic. I don't agree with that, because that's just releasing a broken product and then selling the solution later, but Blizzard is known for doing that. It doesn't excuse that, but you know it's probably going to happen. Also, I like the idea of having those two currencies, one for gear, one for cosmetics. I think that would open up the game to have a little bit more variety when it comes to like end game and doing different events, because what we have when you hit to level 70 is just running heroic raids, and that's basically it. Sure, you can do all the rep grinds, you can do all the quests and everything like that, and that's a kind of a personal achievement thing. But when it comes down to it, everyone's there for the transmogs and they're there for the mounts, which means that they need to get bronze, which means that they're just going to run raids over and over and over. The fourth thing is progression. There's not a lot of progression. There's progression aspects in the game, sure. Like the gear is one of them. Getting a bunch of bronze may be considered one of them. The achievement system definitely is nice, if you're into that sort of thing. But at endgame, when you're just running the same raids over and over and over, it gets pretty boring, even if you're super powerful. So we have to be creative and start thinking of things that we can do. I even tried doing a stream where no cloaks were allowed and nobody wanted to do that. Completely understandable, I get it. But in the next remix, I think it would be really good if we had some kind of progression system when we hit max level. Something that just doesn't really end and we can keep going and going and going. Maybe introduce keystones into remix, or invent something entirely new. Even solo running for time would be a lot of fun, because if you're that powerful and you can solo dungeons and raids, why not make a system where we can solo keystones? And the fifth and last thing I want to talk about is the shaming in the game. Now this comes down to us as a community. I've seen this kind of comment a lot when I was talking about the fact that people who run heroics don't want to run with people whose item level is lower than something like 420 or even 400. And for some reason, people thought that I was referring to people with low gear scores as not being able to solo heroics, when that was never what I was talking about. I was only talking about the fact that people who are 476 item level want to run with higher item level people so that they can get the raid done faster. And that somehow got translated to, well, I run solo and it's fine. Great. Good for you. Or the fact that people sounded like they were taking offense to all this and had to mention that they run heroic raids and they pull in anybody that they want, regardless of the gear score. And here's where that shaming comes into play. No one should be shaming anyone who wants to carry 9 to 19 other people in a heroic Siege of Orgrimmar. If that person is comfortable enough to spend a lot of time in that raid and not get any extra benefit, no extra bronze or anything, they could have gotten the same amount if they would have just done a quick run, and they want to carry a whole bunch of people who don't have the gear score, that is their choice and that is perfectly okay. They are spending their time how they want to spend their time. So they shouldn't be shamed because they're happy to do so. But that doesn't mean that those people get to shame the people who want to go really quick and only accept people at a higher item level. We want to get the content done. We're there just to get bronze. We want to clear this raid in under 45 minutes and be on our way. If we have a couple of carries in there, that's perfectly fine. We know that we're going to clear the content really fast anyway because the majority of the people are super geared. But the shaming on both sides, that crap needs to stop. It's just dumb. And if you're blasting someone because you don't agree with how they're running things, then you really need to check yourself. It's dumb. You look stupid. Get over it. So these are my takes on MoP Remix. I think it was an awesome event, but what do you think? What changes would you love to see in the next Remix event? I love what they did. I thought there was a lot of trial and error, but all in all, they have a really good thing going here. It may not be for everybody, but it is for a lot of people. Leave your comments down below, as I do read every single comment and I reply to most of them. And if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you like this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you guys want to come hang out with me, make sure to check out my Discord link down below, and we can talk about anything from video games all the way to working out in the gym and anything else that's on your mind. Also, I'm going to be streaming a lot more these days. If you guys want to come check me out on Twitch, I stream my workouts in my home gym every Monday through Friday, and I'm going to be doing a lot more gaming streaming here in the future. With that said, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about everything, and I'll catch you guys next time in Azeroth. Take care.